The Lions were missing 11 starters against the Packers. That's why I like Green Bay in the points last night, 28-27. 18 players on the IR is currently the most in the NFL. So they're going out and getting Jamal Adams, and they're finding guys on the street. And, again, that's why I thought Green Bay would kind of narrowly win last night. So what that Detroit win proves last night, though, is how real they are. So it's a stacked roster. We know that. And even when it gets eaten alive by injuries, they can still beat Green Bay. And their front office can still cherry-pick guys around the league and on the street. And so in Detroit last year, we loved the story of the Lions. This year, I think it's easier to love the team. I think they're going to begin. I think this is the first year of about 4 years of them entering a San Francisco 49er stage where we kind of feel like, oh, this is the best roster in the league. And that's how we felt about the Niners. And it lasted about 4 to 5 years, and now it's gotten old. But I think Detroit's entering that Niner stage. Doesn't guarantee Super Bowls. You got to constantly tweak, but I trust their front office. So outside of Philadelphia, I think Detroit has the best roster. I think their O-line's the best in the league. I think their quarterback is great. I think they have 2 unique running backs. They'll get a star edge rusher back next year. They have the best young safety in the game. There's nothing I don't like. And last night's a great example where they didn't run the ball. And that's what they do really well. So they needed Goff to be great, and Goff didn't have an incompletion for the last 21 and a half minutes of the game. So, really good teams win different ways. And because they have so many great players going into their prime, Goff's expensive, Penei Sewell, you're going to have to start paying Amon-Ra St. Brown. You start paying 3, 4, 5 guys like the Niners, then it gets tough. The margins shrink really quickly. There were about 3 years when the Niners were just blasting people. And then last year they're beating people, and this year they're losing close games. So but I think this team has entered the Niners stage. 4 to 5 years of, wow, blowing a lot of people out. Enough great players where they don't have to play all their starters, can miss several starters and beat an excellent team. And here's Dan Campbell after.
Guys, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. That's the way to show up. You talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again. You did it again. All right? It doesn't matter who's playing for us. It doesn't matter what's going on. You always find a way to win. That's what champions do.
So last night, Green Bay gets the ball in the second half to start, touchdown. Interception, touchdown. So Detroit went, from up 10 to down 4, and you're like, uh-oh. And it was a heavyweight fight. They were the last one standing. Goff didn't throw in completions. There was one punt in the second half. It turned into a track meet. It wasn't in the first half. It turned into a track meet. And they're missing 18 guys on the IR, and they won.
Yeah, I mean, I never said uh-oh because you see Dan Campbell. You see who the Detroit Lions are. They are no joke. They have always been for real. I disagree with what Colin said, though, where he said last year you liked the story more than the team. This year you like the team, and it's like, no, the team was awesome last year. Like, what are you talking about? Just even watch Hard Knocks from 21, and you'll see that. Or 21, 22, whatever year it was. And so, yeah, I mean, a win against the Packers like that is wildly impressive. And it just goes to show you that it's more than just the players themselves, that it's everything. You obviously have these great players, right? Gibbs, Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Goff, all of that. And we know Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, all of that, right? That's all well and good. But when you have all those injuries, and yet not only do you play well, but the level of intensity and the game readiness, like, that's what that screams more than anything. And again, that shows you the culture and the coaching that is not what the 49ers had. The 49ers had the roster. They had the pure bones of it all, right? They had the Christian McCaffreys, the Debos, the Kittles, the etc. They had that. And they had the Shanahan, the brains, and all of that. But they did not have this culture and intensity. They just didn't. That's why they had problems with Ayuk carrying on and causing problems and being like, I got to get out of here. This team doesn't like me, and taking to online social media and being a big baby about all that type of nonsense. That's why you had Debo fighting with the field goal kicker and stuff. Like, all just weird nonsense. Players not even knowing the overtime rules and stuff. The 49ers don't have that level of intensity. They haven't. They had the talent and the skill. So if anything, the 49ers, what you could have said about that run said, I like the players, not the team. I like the coach, not the team. Whereas the Lions, you can say, I love the coach, I love the story, I love the players, I love the team, I love the family. Because that is who the Lions are. They are a family. There was this one play, and I was like bummed that I missed this in my video the other day when I was talking about the post game after the Packers-Lions. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I forgot to say this. I specifically wrote it down. But now I get the chance to do it. There was a big hit. I forget exactly who it was. But there was a big tackle, in the backfield for the, Lions defensively against the Packers. And it was a big hit. And there was another defensive player that was not involved in the play. He was off to the side. And he leaped out of his shoes with excitement. He almost hit his head on the roof. I mean, like, he was just so fired up and excited that play happened, that it was like he was a fan. It was literally like he was a fan in the stands or a fan on the couch watching and was just that excited. He was so excited for his guy, for his team, for the hit. And I love that. It wasn't one of those things of like, yeah, that's right, that's what you do. Helmet, we tap our helmets together, the smack on the back. Like, that's not what it was. It was this true, authentic, like I'm overwhelmed with this emotion, just like a fan would be, right? Like just this intensity of just like, oh yes, I am so fired up. So fired up, my camera goes off. And again, that intensity just screams. It screams on the field. It screams in the players' faces. It just screams. You feel it. That level of intensity is why I think Matt LaFleur got in a fight with a fan pregame. And again, you can see Dan Campbell just going off in the locker room. That's that level of intensity. And again, it's authentic intensity. I've had so many coaches over the years that bring that level of intensity, and it's inauthentic. And a coach goes like that, and they're like, yeah, whatever, man, we get it. Yeah, all for one, one for all. Sure, got it, cool, whatever. And you can see that it's not you can see that it's inauthentic. You can see that the coach doesn't even live by it. You can see that it's like, nah, I see a lot of contradictions in what you're saying. I see a lot of hypocrisy. So you don't buy into it. But like Dan Campbell is like the definition of, practice what you preach. And so you can see the culture and the connection of this team that really just leaps out, which is why I think this team has the potential to be way more sustainable than, say, the 49ers. And I do agree with Colin, though. There's no guarantee. So I was talking to a lot of Lions fans, and they're already like counting their rings, and it's like, okay, you do got to keep things in perspective, though, because it is hard. But this team is for real. I mean, it's so funny. You still got Nick Wright saying that Jared Goff is a civilian. And I even wrote in my notes when I was watching the game, I'm like, I just wrote Jared Goff civilian, just to kind of make me remember that, to be like, it's insane to watch Goff and the Lions play and think like he's like a weak link of this team, right? Just because he can't like rip off a 35-yard run like Lamar Jackson, he's like a weak link. But the dude's just throwing daggers. Just pure 99.999% accuracy. Just like pinpoint, like video game where all you do is have to just hit like triangle or X and the ball just goes exactly where you want it to go. I mean, like, it's just pinpoint, man. Even his movement in the pocket, out of the pocket. I know it doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing when he's kind of like on the run a little bit on the roll, because he just doesn't have that same level of like fluidity of like a Josh Allen or something like that. But he still gets the job done. He took one sack. That O-line, obviously, beast. So it's like, yeah, people want to bring down Goff, and they'll be like, well, if they didn't have a great O-line, what would he do? And it's like, yeah, okay, take an O-line away from any quarterback, and what would they do? This was, a really big win, and I think it was even just a big culture win more than anything. Obviously, getting this win, staying in first place, home field advantage, trying to lock up the division, that's all important. Those are all givens, right? Like we know that. You don't even have to know football. You just know math, and you know the importance of it. I don't need to talk about the importance of that. This was a huge culture win. This was a huge family win. This is another check, mark to be like, this is what we do. This is who we are. We are just ferocious. And every team in the NFL knows it. Every single team in the NFL knows it. And every single coach in the NFL knows it as well. And it is intimidating. It is haunting. And nobody wants to face that come time playoffs. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Detroit Lions? Do you think it's clear that they're the best team in the NFL? Do you think they'll be able to continue to maintain this level of intensity and overcome any of their injuries? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.